Hi, I'm Rahul Mishra, and this season my collection for Haute Couture Week is based around idea of travel, the idea of curiosity, how curiosity makes us wander around, and how we learn and grow. It's almost a very childlike expression because when you see a child grow, is the curiosity. It's like looking at things in extremely a wonderful way. Keep wondering is something which is key to learn as human being. I think for me, future is all about achieving common goals which are about not about symbolic inclusivity that on runway you show a lot of inclusivity, but it's also a kind of inclusivity which is rooted behind everything. As a creative director, I need to think about the people who work on the collection, how my new collection can help them to generate more work, rather than thinking about just as an idea that I want to do this season something new, don't want to touch this technique. Whereas a lot of people who follow the technique might be dependent on this new collection. So future is all about which secures present. And apart from that, when you look at sustainability, rather than looking at sustainability in a very myopic view, I would say everything should be taken care of. Cultural sustainability, sustainability of taking care of jobs, taking care of fair wages, working towards achieving goals where we do not unnecessarily manufacture too many clothes. So, sometimes we might have to go back how fashion was 50 years back. And I think borrowing from past is really important for a better future for us. Future alone is not going to be great if we look at future just in terms of visual language. I think we have to look at future in terms of processes, how we create clothes and what is needed for the planet as well as for the people.
That's great.
I think rather than looking at 6 months as a future, which is often driven by achieving very good sales for the brand, I think one has to also look sometimes 60 years in the future, how we want planet to be like. So I think more so whatever we create today, it impacts our future really drastically. So to have a positive future in future and to have even existence in future, I think we have to rethink about the purpose and processes behind everything what we create, behind everything what we design. And that's where I really feel like as a creative person, as a designer who can impact so many lives, we have got a fiercely responsible job. We have got a very responsible job to able to include people, to produce those pieces. So I say it's almost like 4 P's which are really important for future. First P is the purpose behind. Why do you have to create yet another outfit? And the purpose often should create a process that creates participation from people. And that's how the product is born. So for me, our ideal future is far more promising for the generations to come about resources. We cannot be selfish about resources and think, oh, now 6 months of time, I want to look cool. And after that, I will see what happens in the future. I think designers, rather than looking 6 months down the line, or creators, especially engineers, designers, creators, we have to look even 100 years down the line, how the event or how the trend, how the process is going to impact people, planet, and prosperity. I think it is very, very interesting thing to look at what future holds for fashion. I think all our predictions of past have gone completely wrong, and 2021 has proven that. We still have great affinity for craftsmanship. We still are very individualistic, in spite of all the trends telling us like pink is the hottest color, or maybe yellow is the color of the season, maybe blue is the color of the season. Still, you see colorful people around us, which is great. So, and celebration of culture, because culture has evolved through thousands of years, through generations. So I think a race or a species without culture, without beliefs, with the fashion is not coupled with culture and craft is to me very, very boring. I don't think future can be that boring. I don't think future can be that pale, that we reach to a stage where nobody appreciates, the most I think sophisticated tool ever created in the universe, that's human hand. So I really feel like if we look at, I think consumption is going to be far more mindful in future. I think people will love to own that clothing. It has happened just 10 years, within 10 years. Like there was a big fashion about buying that new outfit which is just launched, and I want to wear the first one to buy that, to wear that beautiful new outfit. Nowadays, I think if your piece of clothing is even from your grandmother, is celebrated more and you are liked more. I think future is going to intersect a lot with past in coming future. I think one of the reasons I'm valuing 2019 experience of travel so much, that 2020 we had decided about traveling to one place in Maldives, which has inspired me to create my first couture collection for Haute Couture week. And I had to go back there in the month of May and June to celebrate the collection and rework with that. It was a kind of 25-year collaboration or celebration of that property with a brand. Somehow everything changed. Like we had a few stores in pipeline that went on hold. One store overseas was for sure was looking like it's going to happen in 2021 or maybe 2020. So a lot of these things got shifted. I think I have always believed in slowness of the process, enjoyed this process. This pandemic gave me a new meaning about that. We have already talked about reverse migration, where I always thought that people need to go back and work from their home. During pandemic, when India was going through a big migration crisis, my people could be at comfort of their home and still could produce things for me. I think it also validated a lot of these philosophies which look like maybe it's creating a positive impact and all that, but that has impacted a lot. And the result was, like in 2020, we achieved the similar volume of business what we did in 2019. So pandemic somehow did not impact us so badly because of our practices of slow fashion, made from the villages, made from the homes. And then after that in 2021 also, like I realized, although we have hit by really worst, a nightmare for a country like India, and Delhi was like really worst epicenter of all, things happening for COVID crisis. Again, our preparedness for this collection and everything had somehow that, strong foundation behind the brand, which I'm very thankful that we believed and we invested upon. My beliefs about that have gone more stronger. And this pandemic has also, I would say, catapulted this whole belief system to a next level by saying, like, I think, future looks very imperfect. Future may not be perfect always. We may face this kind of situation again in future. How ready a business can be to able to, negate or to be able to navigate through this kind of turmoil. So I think we are better prepared now. We have learned better. And again, I must say that I'm realizing power of fashion. Like first lockdown happened in India last year, around the same time when I did one of the collections. And this time again, we have gone through lockdown as well as really worst crisis which nation has faced. And we realized how power of fashion, just on 30th when I was shooting this collection, got 40, 50 people together to create the fashion film. Obviously for the collection, more than hundreds of people have worked. But when you are seeing models shooting for the first time, then you see, lighting people using lights for the first time, the studio getting booked for the first time in 4 months of time, director of photography is getting work for the first time. It created a lot of strength for all of us. That's where we realize the power of fashion, power of creating something, because suddenly it also gives so much of hope to people. Because sitting at home when you are doing freelance, when you're doing all type of work, brings a lot of negativity in your mind, that what is going to happen, will I get work again, our brands are going to exercise a lot more restraint in actually investing into making films and all that. So a lot of talent, I'm sure, this filmmaking gave them confidence, gave them boost. And coming from India, I think I'm probably amongst the first one who is creating so early, a film of this nature. Probably this is going to also help other people to able to realize and visualize, like it's great to engage people and take a bit of risk, and maybe don't wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen. I think, last 5 years also fashion has gone through a lot of change. I think even biggest of brands are not invincible in terms of, their approach, because social media has created longer reach, but at the same, social media has created, you know, uh, it's almost a double-edged sword, because it also needs a lot more transparency. Just in marketing alone, you can't win markets. Like I think it's a truthful approach, from purpose to process, along with the product, which is really, really needed. So I think all the brands should be ready with to answer a lot of difficult questions which are going to come their way, and it will keep happening more and more, because I think next 5 years are going to define even the brands who might be sitting on top, even the emerging brands. Nobody is immune, So I think transparency of processes, pricing, product, everything, purpose, everything will be asked about. And I think in that way, consumer is directly able to engage in dialogue nowadays through social media. So I don't think it has remained only about image anymore. So future of fashion looks not like a monologue, but a bit like dialogue from multiple corners. So that's where I think all the brands need to have rightful answers, rightful conduct, and rightful processes. Um, by end of this year, we are looking at adding two more retail outlets in India. Maybe one is possible now, and one might take another 6 months of time. Apart from that, we're also looking at within 3 years of trajectory, at least having 2 to 3, overseas stores, maybe in Paris, London, and all these kind of locations. So that is something which is in pipeline. We have been talking about this. There has been a lot of interest from some of the big investors within India, some of the very big companies. But I really love, the power of being small, because small is a bit more nimble, a bit faster to take decisions. So I think just big size alone may not be all of our advantage. It may be disadvantage also. So I like the current situation, and at the same time, creatively, I want to explore more and more, and I want to stay free spirited. I want to be free in my mind, whatever I create, rather than thinking about, oh, something like that has happened before or not done before. I think if my process is completely clear, clean, I don't have to look at what is happening around me. I think I can just sit in my lab, almost like an artist or a scientist, who just keep creating whatever comes to his mind. So I think that's the kind of state of mind which I'm into, and I want to continue it for next 5 years and keep growing with that. My biggest wish is that this word sustainability in 5 or 10 years time is no longer used, as everything has become sustainable in the world, and that everything, all the processes are accountable for, are sustainable, and something which includes all the ethnicities, all the people together in processes. And I don't know how many revolutions will it take to have women equally in charge at position, rather than just doing lip service and talking about it. So of the world in utmost equality. I'm sure if if women were running the world would have been a better place. So I think that's one thing. And I'm sure, like, I wish we also start defining profitability in true sense rather than just looking at numbers and looking at turnovers. I think money is just 25% of entire equation. The rest 75% is often not looked upon. It's almost like the thing which is submerged under the iceberg. You are just looking at tip of iceberg when you look at only finances, as an idea of performance for every brand. I think we shall start looking at performance in more holistic terms, more community terms, more related to cultural terms, and more related to, I think, environmental terms. So these are a few things which I really wish uh, realistically that should happen. I think within 10 years of time. I really hope for that.